Hello, I hope this is working. I'm just going to try. I know that last time I had some problems on Facebook, but hopefully this time it will work. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to try and get the Instagram working as well now. Okay, so great to be back, and thank you for the questions. And I didn't ask for questions on some of the other channels, just on Instagram to this time. We'll see how we get on with Facebook. Hopefully it will work. Otherwise, do join on YouTube, and YouTube is working. Hello, you can see me. Good, you can see me. How tough is Finnish? It's depends. If you're Estonian, not very tough. if you're from an English-speaking country, a little bit more difficult. If you've not studied another language similar, it just depends on what your language knowledge really is. Okay, just trying to figure out this issue I've got now with Instagram. It should be very quick, hopefully. Okay, so Instagram is now, and yeah, I hope that you will enjoy. So I'm going to go first, and then as more questions come, as more of you join, you can ask me more questions about languages, language learning, anything you want, really. So I have a question: how do you start? We think, and the reality is that actually motivation is not one thing. Actually, motivation really is to do with something that we need to carry on. If we don't pay any attention to it, then unfortunately we go a bit south and we end up losing motivation. And hello, everyone joining. And we don't sort of continue with our studies. So it could be music, it could be films, it could be series, it could be friends, it could be groups. I'll just give you an example for me. So with Korean at the moment, I'm going through this sort of learning just the alphabet, and I've set myself the goal of doing learning the alphabet, and going through the Michelle Thomas Korean course before the end of the year. And then from the start of next year, I'll be starting with proper lessons, and I'll be doing all that kind of thing, finding my italki teacher or teachers, and actually going through and learning Korean in a very formal way, with a very this program of study and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm doing at the moment is finding lots of channels that I can enjoy. And I've signed up to lots of people now on Instagram who teach Korean or talk about Korean. And I'm finding that my feed is slowly getting full of lots of Korean content, which I find extremely useful, because I'm seeing letters now that I've started learning, and I'm able to read some things, and that's really, really cool. Oh, 안녕하세요. I can read 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. And so that's my plan is that I want to have that all the time, so that I don't have to seek out the motivation as much as the motivation comes to me. That's one of the beautiful things about social media, is that you can follow channels to get things. You can do it on many places as well. I do this on TikTok. I do it on Instagram. I follow certain things on Facebook. Facebook, I don't think works as well, but it can work. I normally do Facebook for my friends more than anything else. And then on YouTube, things come up as well. I don't hang around YouTube as much in terms of like in my free time, but I do when I'm on the move. I do find that I will open Instagram, and I find Instagram and TikTok particularly useful for language content that I find engaging and makes me want to learn things. So yes, that's how I do it. And then I ask the wonderful people out there on social media to help me as well, and I get lots and lots of support from people. So I find having this community is really, really important to me. So that's how I do it. How do you set goals? Setting goals with a language like Hebrew is the question. So setting any goal in language learning is pretty much the same with any language. You basically, it's as simple as you say, by next week or in 2 weeks' time, I want to be able to do this or this or this or whatever. So for me, it's the goal of learning the alphabet within 2 weeks and going through the Michel Thomas method course in 2 weeks. That's all I've set myself as a goal for now. And then when I start, I'm going to be sharing some of the resources that I have for Korean, but you may have already heard the interview I did with Lindy Borders, and we talked a lot about Korean during that interview. So do have a look on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, if you haven't seen it already. And I wrote a blog post to go with it as well on speakingfluently.com. And I just basically talked about these. There are a couple of things that I've really liked on YouTube. There's the Talk to Me in Korean channel, which I follow now on YouTube and on Instagram. And then Go Billy or Billy Go. I keep getting it the wrong way around. Go Billy or Billy Go Korean, and that I found for the alphabet was quite useful. But at the moment, I'm going through my friend Judith Meyer's script hacking Korean book, and I'm going through that at the moment. So I'm finding all of that very useful to do, and they're the types of goals that I set myself. So after I've set myself those goals, when I get to the end of it, I'll set myself new goals, and the new goals will depend on, for example, it might be I'll follow the course on Talk to Me in Korean, and I'll say I'm going to give myself, I don't know, a month to finish level 1. And then if I manage to do it and I'm happy with my progress and I've learned the contents of it after the end of the month, or before the end of the month, then I may move on to the next one and reassess my goals. Reassessing goals is also possible. I mean, you don't have, just because you set yourself a goal, if you see it's not working, you can always assess the goal and decide that you want to change it for something else. No one's going to tell you off for doing that. In fact, it's quite realistic. Things happen beyond our control, right? So completely normal to have to reassess things, because sometimes we get very ambitious and sometimes we think that we're going to do a gazillion things and just time doesn't permit it. So we have to be a little bit fair on ourselves. More time. Someone's asking, how do you get more time? You have to. Unfortunately, time is the one thing we can't make. What we can do is reorganize our time, or make sure that we fit language learning in. The thing that I find that we do generally as humans is we will kind of just almost waste time. so there's certain things that we could be doing, but we just don't do them because maybe we just don't want to get out of bed as quickly, or because we want to do something like just sitting there. It's not always pleasant, but sometimes you do have to make yourself a lot of time to doing it. This is one of the reasons why I particularly like classes, because if you have a class to go to, you have to go to the class, right? And you have to physically move and get there and go there, and there are other people there, and you make friends and you want to go because they're friends and they motivate you to go. And there's a lot of good things about classes for me. You can do that online too, though. You can find like groups and you can come in, and thank you so much, American English, with this guy. That's very kind of you to donate some money on YouTube. Wow, thank you. So I think it's very important to sort of find these natural ways. So anybody out there now listening to me and wants to learn a language, even if you're not doing Korean, it doesn't matter. We can just talk to each other, and you can write to me, reply to my tweets. You can reply to me on Facebook or on Instagram, and just tell me what you're doing, and I'll look through and we can encourage each other. Okay, that's the way of doing it. It's building this community. I think it's really important. I'm really glad that you're enjoying what I'm doing, American English, with this guy. It's nice. It's nice that you find it, find it positive. That's kind of what I hope people will find, that there'll be some positivity in what I do. Okay, I can see some questions coming in, but I'm going to carry on with these other questions first because I've got a few, and hopefully I'll answer some as well. So, ich muss ruhig sein, weil ich ja gleich auf Deutsch sprechen will. Ja, ganz genau, das musst du auch. Man muss schon ein bisschen Geduld haben. Beim Sprachenlernen ist immer so, ne, dass man man Zeit nehmen muss, ne, um die Sprache zu lernen. So, also auf einmal geht's gar nicht. Ich meine, ja. How do you get over the anxiety of starting to speak? Even after 5 languages, it's hard. This is how I do it. In terms of anxiety, I don't feel anxiety when I speak. I really don't. I used to when I was young. I really did. I used to be the same. So I was quite a shy child at one point in my life. I'm definitely not a shy person, and I quite like the whole being out there talking to people. But that's something I think